Welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2 with me. This is Jason over at CasualT Gaming. We are back and looking to the north. We have done what we will set out to accomplish, which is connect all of our cities in the north via train. And so we have passenger availability across the board. We do have a bit of a limitation on our cash. We do have the ability to borrow $10 million if we want to. But I think what we're going to do is let the game run for a little while and come back when we've got a little bit more cash on hand. One of our goals is going to be in the south to do the same thing we did in the north. And we need to select a hub city. And as we discussed at the end of the last episode, I think our hub city is going to be Independence. And I think, based on a little bit further reflection, what I'm going to do is, instead of trying to connect Anaheim through New Orleans and Independence, I think what we're going to do is we're going to do 4 direct routes, or I'm sorry, 3 direct routes: Anaheim, New Orleans, and Concord, all direct into Independence. And then again, we're going to try to wait a little bit longer. It's only 1935. But we'll have a little bit of time to wait until we can connect Independence all the way up to either Corpus Christi or Washington, D.C. Corpus is now 303 and growing. Washington is 464, so significantly larger. What we may do is, after we establish these lines and before the high-speed train becomes available, we may focus on growing Corpus Christi through some goods. However, in the meantime, now that we've got a little bit more cash coming in, we've got Concord at 154, New Orleans at 151, and Anaheim at 91. And I'm thinking New Orleans to Independence is going to be our easiest connection to make. So let's take a look at Independence and see how the city is laid out. And it's perfect for our needs. What I want to do is establish a passenger train station on this side of town, and that's perfect because the residential areas will be buffered by industry and commercial. So that is exactly what we're looking for. So let's go ahead and go to our building. We're looking for a passenger station with 4 lines, 3 inner connections, plus that 4th high-speed connection to the other side of the map. We are going to go with a slightly larger station because of that upcoming train that we know we're going to want to put in. And we're going to go ahead and put it out here, basically facing north-south. And that's perfect. From here, I'm going to go ahead and lay out a little bit of track. Our nearest in-city to the left is going to be Concord, so that's going to be Terminal 1. Terminal 4 is going to be, actually I think Terminal 4 will go over here to Anaheim, and Terminal 3 can go across the river. So we'll do Terminal 2 from this side, we'll go over to New Orleans. And that way we are kind of splitting up the directionality of the trains. Alright, so basically we can follow this road straight to New Orleans. And in New Orleans, let's take a look at the layout of this city. It's not as good because we've got residential on this side, so I think I'll put our train on this side. I am going to build it as a regular station instead of a terminus. I am going to put in 2 tracks, and the reason for that is you never know what's going to happen in the future. You might want to have another train line connecting Anaheim to somewhere else, or we might want to start shipping goods at some point. So I want to give ourselves that flexibility to get over there. All right, so my anticipated route is going to be, I'm going to take the left-hand track almost all the way down, and then we'll cut across the road kind of at the last minute is what I think we'll do. And it's 186 the whole way, so it's perfect. What's happening here that we can't construct. Oh, I just wasn't quite close enough to the mother track, I guess. And it thought that I was trying to build some new line. All right, so coming out of here, we'll go ahead and use the inner as our right-hand track. So this needs to connect to that. And I'm not a huge fan of the way that turn slows us down so much. Let's see if there's a way that I can make this turn more gradual. That's pretty good. And then what we can do is we can make the turn, sorry about the noise, the turn into the station can be where it slows down, which it has to slow down for the station anyway, so that doesn't cost us a lot of momentum to have our slow sections be tied to right at the terminal. And we'll go ahead and merge those tracks if we can, please. If I said if we can, please. Well, okay, we'll get a little closer and then merge the tracks. And again, 50, 39, that's perfectly fine for when we're this close to this station. All right. And it's all high-speed rail, so we'll be able to upgrade it in the future. Since we are going to make this our major hub, I am going to put in my train depot right over here. And I'm going to try to connect it through to all 4 stations. Or, I'm sorry, all 4 terminals. No, that's not going to work. Oh, it's because I made this split so long and windy. That is absolutely my fault. Well, that's not exactly the connection I'm looking for. I think that actually accomplishes what we want by making that a double slip and that a double slip and getting rid of that. And actually, nope, that doesn't need to be a double slip anymore. I think that connects everything through. All right, perfect. So we've got our train line, which is all set up. Now let's make it so that people can get to this train. What we're going to do is we're going to start off with a tram in each direction, but that's a nice enough looking building. Sometimes the buildings look, especially the older passenger stations, can look pretty sad, but that looks pretty nice, so we're going to keep it. And we're going to go to a city, we're going to go to a large street, we're going to have the electric tram. And we'll let the autosave go. And we'll have our 2 connections that way. All right, and we want electric tram paths. And let's see, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take advantage of kind of what's going on here in terms of the shape of the city. And we'll just fill in the blanks. And I'm sorry about your houses. All right, let's go ahead and figure out where our bus and tram stop should go. I think one can go right there and right there and right here to encourage some growth in that direction. And we'll make just one line for now. And this is the Independence tram. And we'll go ahead and call it the counterclockwise line, even though there's no clockwise line. And we'll buy 2 of these. All right. So now they have a reason and an ability to come here. Now the next thing we need to do is same thing on this side. For some reason on this train station, we're not connecting anymore. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll give this train station a slightly nicer building. And we'll do the same thing on this side. And we'll do our same thing with our streets. All right, and New Orleans is laid out a little bit differently. It's a little bit more spread out. So we are going to put in some streets of our own. And we're going to get rid of this. All right, we'll do the same thing with our bus and tram stops. This town is a little bit more spread out, so I want to take advantage of multiple stops with a little bit of overlap. Because I also think that will help the city grow further. Actually, come to think of it, we have the ability here to do our exchange. Basically a north side and a south side. So let's go ahead and do that. Sometimes the mouse slips in your hand, and it's very frustrating when it does that, because you wasted a good amount of money. to our city and our large street, and we'll connect it through right here. And so our line is actually going to, all right, so we're going to do, let's reorient ourselves. This is going to be the New Orleans East line. And then back. And then we'll have our New Orleans tram west. All right, and let's build our tram station or tram depot. I'm sorry. Oh, that's a terrible spot for it, because if I ever need to expand that station, that will absolutely interfere with it. Let's put it on the other side. And that little sound meant that something is wrong with our town in terms of, all right, not actually having electrified track for some reason, even though I'm pretty sure I put it in, but it's okay, it works now. And then we need to build this line from Independence, New Orleans passenger train. The Suburban has one fewer person, but gets them on and off the train faster, and has a 62-mile-an-hour speed limit. This will work. All right, so now we've got our first destination here. No passengers yet, but we kind of expected that. That's why it takes a little while to get started. I think the next easiest city to get to is going to be Concord. We just have to dodge these two iron mines, sorry. We've got plenty of cash coming in, so we should be able to go ahead and start working on that right now. Now, Concord's industry blocks the residential from this side, so I think we're going to put a train station down here. We'll do the same thing, 2 tracks, 240 meter length. We are going to angle it more back towards the city like that, just to be prepared. And we're going to do something a little different this time. We're going to go in straight like that, so people getting off the tram on either side. And I'm sure there is an optimal design, but I am having fun kind of playing around with options. And we'll go ahead and upgrade the rest of that. And we'll put in some tram stops. And we'll just make a circular line. And this will be the Concord tram. This is clockwise. Let's build our tram depot right here off of the route into town. And let's get a couple of trams on it. I did kind of aim the train right at that iron mine, so we are going to start off kind of slow. Coming around the corner. It's not as bad as one map where I literally had to make a U-turn because of the orientation of the train station for the rest of the map, and I'm literally U-turning out in order to be able to get to the rest of the map. I don't like any of these options. I think what's happening is I'm trying to climb too quickly or build too much at a time instead of going up and over nice and easy. Alright, and which side of the line did I take? I took the right hand side, so now it's time to take the left. Alright. New line. Independence to Concord, or Concord. Independence to keep our naming convention going of alphabetizing it based on the alphabet of the first train or of the city. Let's go ahead and get that going on our Concord Independence passenger train. We've got some people waiting to go to New Orleans now. Well, that's wonderful. Let's see how this train is doing. Almost profitable, but with 19 more people on board, that might help a lot. Independence. Do we have people who want to go down to Concord? We do, and they're starting to pay attention to us. There's a lot of people who want to go to New Orleans, and they're barely using our line. Again, I'm not going to be quite so dictatorial yet to cut off this main line, but oops, I'm going to slip and destroy part of the country road connection. No, let's not do that. Let's not be that person quite yet. Similarly, from New Orleans over to Independence, we've got almost 200 people, and only about half of them are ready to use our lines. We do seem to have people waiting. This is wonderful. Just a few folks per. But I do like how we spike out in population because we have our new destinations available and with a lot more frequency. And there we go. That train is now profitable. Lovely. Oh, our tram is full. So let's actually go ahead and get ourselves one more vehicle. And that's perfect because I think this tram is also full and there are people being left behind at the station. Yep. So it is time for us to pick up the pace on the trams. We even have passengers on that Concord line coming back. I did not expect that. Well, that's great news. We're happy to have them. Oh, so it didn't listen to me and it put this train on a different terminal than I wanted it to, but that's okay. We'll let it run now and then I can manually change the terminal. So I wanted this train over on terminal 2. Now, our challenging destination for this portion of the map is going to be Anaheim passenger train. And again, it is both a distance and an angle sort of thing. Before we get started on that, let's go ahead and take a look at our lines and check where we need to watch out. Concord Independence. Okay, well, we know that just started up. Salinas, Washington has no interest. Let's go over there because this was a very big line for us for a while. Okay, we got some more boats. But Washington, Salinas, yeah, it has very little interest. I think it's time to kill this line. Manage vehicles, sell, yes. And manage line, delete. Yeah. We will leave the track there because there may be the possibility of us moving some goods back and forth. Actually, I don't even see that possibility happening. Let's go ahead and get rid of these lines. Why am I wasting time and creating all this racket? Well, the reason I'm doing all this is that there's an infrastructure cost. Specifically, every stick of rail, every signal, has a maintenance cost associated with it, and while it's minor in the short term, infrastructure becomes one of your biggest expenses over the long term, because you have to essentially pay for the running of these trains. So, alright, now that we've taken out the least, I guess I would say the least profitable, as in the most unprofitable, Nashville, Frisco. Okay, yes, we had talked about this one last episode as well. This Frisco bus to Gilbert is overloaded, and nobody wants to take the ship. So it's still better for them to hop on this slow bus into Gilbert, get over to the train, and then get over to Nashville. Because there's 80 people who want to go, and they're sitting in this bus station to make that trip. This ship theoretically should be way more profitable. But what I think is happening is, like I said, the train line is just so much, I don't know if more efficient is the correct answer, or if it's faster overall, or if it's cheaper overall, which any of those possibilities exist. And again, we've got so many people wanting to go on this bus. I think that we need to focus on that first. Gilbert, Frisco first. But we're going to have to wait until our next episode to take care of that. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Transport Fever 2 with CasualT Gaming. please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. I appreciate all of your support, and I will see you guys next time.